Nowadays, we're so used to talking about EVs and hybrids and anything eco-friendly, but as a car person, sometimes you just want to drive something made to drive, and that So, talking about the exterior, the Mustang GT has been updated for this year, model 2024, 2025, depends on where you're getting it. But what they did was really try to sharpen the edges a little more. The previous outgoing model was a little more rounded, a little more, how do I say this, almost sedan-like in terms of design. This one's got sharper angles. Look at the sharper headlights, the grille's more pronounced, there are more sharp corners all over the car, the taillight's been revised, and all these little details that add up to a car that's still unmistakably a Mustang, but a more modern and more tough-looking Mustang. So now we're inside the Mustang GT and it's time to talk about the things that you get inside. So the Mustang has always been something that's supposed to be comfortable yet sporty. And what you get here is that feeling. The seats, these nice Recaro seats, are supportive, but the leather is soft. It's nice. Over a long journey, it actually helps you, because the ride's a little stiffer, but the seats are nice and supportive that way. In terms of creature comforts, you get this big, new, updated, fully digital cluster for the speedometer, the tachometer, and of course the infotainment screen. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So that's always good because it's a modern car. It's 2024. Below that, you get, of course, a wireless charging, very common for cars nowadays. And in front of me, the steering wheel has a lot of buttons. So the buttons on the right side deal with infotainment, and the buttons on the left side deal with the ADAS system that this car comes with. So yes, it is a Mustang, but it's also supposed to be safe and it's also supposed to be comfortable. So on a long journey on the highway, you can just turn on the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist, and everything is good, safe, comfortable. And that's really all I can talk about here in the interior, because it is basically a two-door sports car. There's not much more features you can put in here, but really you won't feel like it's lacking in any way at all. Speaking of lacking, while it is a four-seater, I wouldn't recommend that anybody be here. So one of the factors that you really want to find out about the Ford Mustang is that if you can actually live with it. Nowadays, most people are trying to buy even sports cars that they try to use on a daily basis, and the Mustang has always been that. Ever since it's been launched, all the way back in the 60s, it's been something that you were supposed to be able to drive on a daily basis but also have fun with. And I can say that in this current generation, that is also the case, because if you look at all the things that Ford is giving you in terms of creature comforts, like right now we're on the Skyway, I'm using the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist. It's pretty comfortable, it's pretty quiet. There's nothing really telling me that it's a sports car at this particular moment in time. It's very sedate, which is good. And in the city also, I've driven it the past 2 days in heavy traffic, during the nighttime, during rush hour, in the morning, and I realized that it's not so hard to maneuver in the city. Yeah, at some point you feel the length and the width, but not too much. It's not as bad as you think when you're first looking at it. You're thinking like, oh, how am I gonna drive this? But honestly, in the city, it's not so bad. And on the highway, it's just as behaved also. So on a daily basis, I think you could get away with driving the Mustang GT on the daily. So we're now here, somewhere in the north. We did a mountain pass loop, and I'm just gonna give you a lowdown on how it felt to drive the Mustang GT on some twistier roads, some narrow roads. And when you really think about a Mustang, the common misconception about it is that when it comes out of Cars and Coffee meets, it spins out, hits a barricade. Generally, these cars are known for being unruly. I think that this generation is a little less unruly. You will never ever be able to remove the fact that this is still a 5-liter fire-breathing, almost 500 horsepower V8, and it's an American muscle V8. So it will always be a beast. It will always want to tear its own tires and, you know, eat its way out of the body. But what I found out during the mountain pass was that it can be sort of, how do I say this, sporty. It can be sporty, it can be a little calm. It will give you the power. I just left it in sport mode a while ago to give you the power out of the corners, to give you the glorious V8 sounds. But dynamically speaking, a few generations ago, if I tried to do what I just did a few minutes ago in a Mustang, I probably would have ended up down a cliff, in a river, or worse. And this car, I'm happy to report, it didn't scare me. It was perfectly fine, and if you want to take it out to a mountain road, it's not all about highway cruising. You'd be happy cruising it on the highway, and you'd be happy taking it on a mountain road, of course with respect. Like I said earlier, it's still an American muscle car. It will still want to be a beast, and this can still do that, but it's a little more attainable now. We've already talked about how well the Mustang drives, how much more it's improved actually from the outgoing model in terms of creature comforts, driving dynamics, even looks and all of these things. But how much does it cost? Now, the core of a Mustang's belief has always been affordable, attainable performance. And this model is pretty much the same. At 3,999,000 pesos, I think that's actually quite a bargain if you're considering how much it costs compared to its main rivals. Like for example, the Nissan Z is about 100,000 pesos less or almost the same price, depending on price updates and all of that. The Toyota Supra is a full around 2 million pesos more expensive than this. Although you can say these things aren't comparable, they're different, but if you're talking about performance, almost 500 horsepower from something like this and it's less than 4 million pesos, you can use it every day. Well, I don't know how much harder or how much better it can get than that. So if you're in the market for something quick, affordable, kind of practical if you think about it, then the Ford Mustang GT is actually a pretty good proposition. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. And also don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. This has been Pablo Salapantan of YugaAuto. Thank you for watching. Paalam!